What do you think about what Elon Musk has been tweeting about Britain and the Prime Minister over the last few days?
Well, what I'd say is that all social media companies have responsibilities as well to deal with fake news. We've seen a lot of fake information being shared on online platforms. We've seen a lot of hate, and people have a responsibility to not conduct themselves and to amplify that, but actually to deal with the online misinformation, but also not to spread that hate. And, you know, we don't want to see that, whether that's online or offline. And people who are online spreading violence and inciting violence will be met with the law, as well as those that turn up and try and throw missiles at police and at our communities.
Elon Musk just sent shockwaves through the political world, dropping a revelation about Rayner that blindsided everyone. Social media is already in meltdown mode, with speculation running wild and political analysts scrambling to assess the damage. So, what exactly did Musk uncover? And how is Rayner handling the sudden scrutiny? Let's break it all down. No one expected Elon Musk and Rayner to clash, but when it happened, the impact was immediate. Rayner, a prominent Labour figure known for her straight-talking approach, suddenly found herself on the defensive against one of the most influential voices in tech and business. Musk, never one to hold back, dropped a revelation that sent political circles into chaos. The question now wasn't just about what he had uncovered. It was about how Rayner would respond and whether this would mark a turning point in her career.
Donate £100 million to Nigel Farage's Reform Party. If that's true, it would be, as I understand it, the biggest political donation in British history. And it would sure put rocket boosters, if you'll excuse the SpaceX pun, under reform ahead of the next election, wouldn't it?
What started as an innocent tweet about the future of electric vehicles quickly spiraled into something far bigger. Musk, casually engaging in discussion, made a routine post, but then Rayner stepped in. Never one to shy away from confrontation, she fired back, accusing billionaires of interfering in politics and questioning their influence over public affairs. But what she didn't expect was Musk's ominous response. A cryptic message hinting at hidden truth that could change everything. Suddenly, this wasn't just a Twitter exchange. It was the beginning of a much bigger controversy.
I don't think anyone should go to the UK when they're releasing convicted paedophiles in order to imprison people for social media posts. Yeah, blimey. Talk about not pulling any punches. This wasn't just Musk being petty. It actually speaks to a core issue that's been at the heart of his beef with Labour. It's about free speech. See, because
the heated Twitter exchange quickly caught the media's attention, turning a simple online spat into a full-blown political storm. Headlines exploded, analysts speculated, and before long the tension spilled into live television. Both Musk and Rayner agreed to go head-to-head in a highly anticipated interview. As they took their seats, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Rayner, exuding her usual confidence, looked ready for battle. Musk, on the other hand, sat back with his signature smirk, unbothered, unshaken, and seemingly in control. From the very first exchange, it was clear this wasn't just another political debate. This was about to be something much bigger.
Now that he'd like to get rid of Sir Keir Starmer before the next general election. He believes that Western civilization is threatened. There's been a lot of pushback. I think the Labour government's policy seems to either be to answer journalists' questions by attacking him or else trying to ignore him. But you sort of said that China can't be ignored. Elon Musk is essentially the richest man in the world, and one would argue perhaps one of the most powerful men in the world.
Musk, known for his unpredictable and often provocative style, took a different approach this time. He was calm, composed, and meticulously prepared. Rather than getting caught up in personal controversies, he deflected with ease, steering the conversation toward Rayner's past at every turn. Rayner, to her credit, stood her ground. But something had shifted. Sharp-hewn viewers noticed a slight change in her tone, an almost imperceptible hesitation. The once fiery confidence seemed just a little less certain. Then Musk made his move. He expanded the conversation to the broader issue of transparency in public life. His words carried an unmistakable weight, and the studio fell silent. The audience, the host, even Rayner herself, everyone was hanging on to his every word. Something big was coming.
Declared that very few companies would be willing to invest in the UK under the current administration. Now, This wasn't just some off-the-cuff remark. Musk has made this statement in response to a letter from Scottish politicians who are hoping to woo Tesla into opening a new gigafactory in Scotland.
Musk's words carried a gravity that couldn't be ignored. As he spoke about leadership and the necessity of full transparency, his statement hung in the air, loaded with meaning, thick with unspoken implications. In that moment, viewers at home felt a shift. Something about the exchange didn't feel routine. Rayner, known for her sharp, no-nonsense persona, maintained her composure, but just barely. For a fleeting second, her confidence seemed to falter. It was subtle, a hesitation, a brief flicker of unease, but for those watching closely, it was enough to suggest that Musk's words had hit their mark.
Has made attracting businesses to Britain a central pillar of his economic strategy, at least in theory. With the UK facing low growth and the aftermath of some pretty hefty tax rises, which is putting it mildly, Starmer's been on a mission to woo international investors. So, having the world's richest man essentially giving your country's business climate a thumbs down, not exactly the ringing endorsement that Starmer was hoping for. Now, let's not forget what sparked this latest round of tension. The possibility of a Tesla gigafactory in Scotland. These aren't just any old factories. They are massive facilities that produce both electric vehicles and the batteries that power them. Huge. A gigafactory in the UK would mean thousands of jobs and a significant boost to the country's manufacturing sector.
What undisclosed truths had Musk uncovered that the public had yet to learn? As it turned out, in the weeks leading up to the highly anticipated showdown, Musk had been quietly preparing behind the scenes. He had assembled a specialized research team with one goal: to dig deep into Rayner's past. They left no stone unturned. Public records were scrutinized, former colleagues were contacted, and every strategic decision in her political career was examined with forensic precision. This wasn't just about debating policies. Musk had come armed with information that could change everything.
Himself as a champion of free speech. Actually, he's even gone as far as to brand himself as a free speech absolutist. In his view, Labour, under Keir Starmer's leadership, is on the wrong side of this debate. Musk has repeatedly accused Starmer of restricting free speech in Britain. He's taken particular issue with the UK's online safety bill, which aims to regulate harmful content on social media platforms. In Musk's eyes, this is a step too far and it's potentially stifling free expression online. It's really important to him.
The outcome? A meticulously crafted dossier packed with revelations that had the power to shatter the carefully maintained image Rayner had built over the years. Hidden within the findings were key connections, strategic maneuvers, and undisclosed decisions that, when pieced together, revealed a far more intricate and potentially controversial story of her rise within the Labour Party. If these details went public, it wouldn't just be a political scandal. It would be a moment that could reshape how the public viewed her entirely. And for Rayner, that was a risk she hadn't seen coming.
The free speech debate isn't the only point of contention between Musk and Starmer. Remember those riots in the UK last summer? Well, Musk waded into that controversy as well, dubbing the Prime Minister two-tier Keir. He wasn't the only one. Now, this nickname was Musk's way of criticising what he saw as unequal treatment in the justice system. He argued that the punishments handed out to those involved in the riots were disproportionate, especially when compared to other crimes. Now,
Rayner's reputation as a working-class politician was now under scrutiny. Musk, keeping his tone steady, challenged her self-made image. His team's research told a different story. He presented records of undisclosed meetings between Rayner and corporate lobbyists, dating back to her early political career. For a moment, her composure slipped, a brief flicker of unease. It was enough to raise questions.
Social media campaign by the world's richest man, Elon Musk, who accused Keir Starmer of complicity in what he called the rape of Britain, a failure to crack down on child abuse by gangs. Musk also said Home Office Minister Jess Phillips is a rape genocide apologist. And only this morning, Trump's advisor Musk wrote to 211 million followers that it should be prison for Starmer.
Musk wasn't a politician looking for a quick win. He was an outsider with resources and influence. He listed high-end restaurant meetings, private discussions, and undisclosed financial backing, all missing from official records. Each detail chipped away at Rayner's carefully built image. The host, sensing the tension, tried to shift the conversation. Musk didn't budge. His message was clear. The public had a right to know who really pulls the strings in British politics.
So it's no wonder that Scottish politicians are eager to get Musk's attention. It'd be a huge boon for them. With Musk's latest comments, that dream seems to be slipping away. It's not just about Tesla. Musk's words carry weight in the business world. If other tech giants and investors start echoing his sentiments, start saying the same thing, it could spell real trouble for Labour's economic plans. Where's the growth? It's important.
Rayner stood her ground, dismissing Musk's claims as baseless conspiracy theories from a billionaire with too much power and no accountability. But something was different. Her usual sharpness wasn't there. Viewers could sense the shift. The momentum was no longer in her favour. By the time the interview ended, the fallout had already begun. Political analysts scrambled to break down the revelations, while Labour officials met behind closed doors. The big question: what did this mean for Rayner's future?
Labour's impact on the national economy, although larger businesses seem more confident than smaller ones. But Musk's comments do tap into a broader concern about the UK's attractiveness as an investment destination. Post-Brexit, and with ongoing political uncertainties, quite a lot of those, some investors have been wary about putting their money into British ventures. So, how has Labour responded to Musk's latest broadside? Well, that's the interesting part. They haven't, at least not directly. The Labour Party has maintained a conspicuous silence in the face of Musk's criticisms, which could be a strategic move. They don't want to get drawn into this. By not engaging directly with Musk, they avoid giving his comments more oxygen, the oxygen of publicity.
Rayner's authenticity and working-class roots, once her greatest strengths, were now under scrutiny. Labour supporters faced a tough choice: stand by her or demand answers. The uncertainty deepened divisions, forcing many to rethink what they once believed. Meanwhile, Musk's reputation as a disruptor only grew. His approach exposed the fragility of even the most polished political figures. Whether seen as a truth-teller or a meddler, his impact was undeniable. As the dust settled, one thing was clear: British politics would not be the same.
Back between a billionaire and a political party. It's about the future of free speech in the digital age. The challenges of investing, or rather of attracting international investment in the post-Brexit economy, and the delicate balance between regulation and innovation. So whether you agree with Musk or not, you think he's wide of the mark, one thing's undeniable: his words have power. They can move markets and influence public.
Angela Rayner, once a key figure on Labour's rise, was now struggling to defend her credibility. Revelations of undisclosed meetings with corporate lobbyists had put her reputation as a working-class advocate in doubt. The fallout from Musk's exposé was swift and brutal. Her approval ratings plummeted, and even her strongest supporters began demanding answers. Labour's leadership, already dealing with internal tensions, now faced a tough decision: stand by Rayner and weather the storm, or distance themselves to limit the damage.
Ashamed of themselves, embarrassment. I think that woman needs to look in a blimmin' mirror. Maybe Lord Ali can afford to buy her one. The problem we have here, of course, is this isn't the first time in recent months that senior figures are now, in America, who are going to be part of...
Rayner stood her ground, dismissing Musk's claims as baseless conspiracy theories from a billionaire with too much power and no accountability. But something was different. Her usual sharpness wasn't there. Viewers could sense the shift. The momentum was no longer in her favour. By the time the interview ended, the fallout had already begun. Political analysts scrambled to break down the revelations, while Labour officials met behind closed doors. The big question: what did this mean for Rayner's future? Rayner's reputation as a working-class politician was now under scrutiny. Musk, keeping his tone steady, challenged her self-made image. His team's research told a different story. Elon Musk's unexpected entry into British politics sparked a broader debate about transparency and accountability. To some, he was a necessary disruptor, exposing hard truths and challenging the political establishment. To others, his involvement raised serious concerns. Should a billionaire have the power to shape political discourse? No matter the perspective, one thing was certain. This moment had left a lasting impact on British politics. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.